In the world of NHRA drag racing, this is Hercules, this is Paul Bunyan, this is John Q. Public and John Wayne rolled up into one 11,000 horsepower package. His name, John Force, defines in many ways Nitro Funny Car drag racing. It has defined an attitude, it has defined an approach, it has defined a life that began in an impoverished state and has turned into something that even he could not have imagined as a high school football quarterback on a team that didn't win a single game. First win comes in Montreal, 1987. Get this, Louis Bloom pulled this one up. A perfect 700 race span between, if we count that first win in 1987 and we count this race, 700 races encompassing the 149 victories that he has accomplished in his NHRA funny car racing career. They stacked up like cordwood from there. And on the other side of the racetrack, the second winningest Nitro funny car driver in the history of the NHRA with great history here. His first win in a top fuel car, 1995, to his 50th win in 2016 and his 60th career win in 2018. His 61st career win would be the equivalent of a block in chess. He would stop. That man right there, Jill Prock, Brittany Force looking on as John Force and Ron Capps, two of the indisputably greatest ever, get ready to lock horns here in Seattle. Will this be the moment that John Force closes the chapter on 150 wins? They leave within 0.02 of a second. Force is the car length out, and at the finish line, it's John Force for the 150th time in the greatest career in NHRA history. He's done it. Pacific Raceways going absolutely bananas when he went across the finish line. A 397 with the tail hanging sideways late in the run at 320 miles an hour defeats Ron Capps' lower 401.
It starts with the tuner, the car. They gave him a car that can win. John Force did the rest.
We have Bruno Massa with Brian Karate.
Down here in the starting lot, Dan Hood and Brian Karate. Dan, this is your father-in-law. You just tuned to his 150th victory history. How does that feel right now?
Just a blessing to be a part of it. Finally got that 150 monkey off our back. It's been hanging there, and glad for him. I think we're going to have quite a few more to come.
His 9th career victory at Seattle. The only other track he's had more success is Brainerd, Minnesota with 11 wins. It is never easy to predict John Force's emotional state when he climbs out of a race car. Is it relief? Is it satisfaction? Or is it tears? We're going to find out when he pulls his helmet off here in a moment. But for everyone that sat here to watch this drag race this weekend, all of you watching at home, you have seen something that we may never, ever see again in the sport of NHRA drag racing, a 150th career victory.
Don't let anybody tell you don't matter. I'm so lately. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Come here. Love you. Love you too. The best right here. It's just
the raw emotion of John Force pouring out.
Don't screw you up. I've been screwed up for 25 races. And God, I'm glad that monkey's gone. Where is that monkey? I love that monkey now. But
the words
hey,
flowing like a river, and we apologize if some of those hit you the wrong direction, but that's John Force. And Jamie Howe is right there at ground zero with him. Good luck with this, Jamie.
And Ron Capps was the one that put the winner hat on his head. 150 wins for John Force, right on the lips for Ron Capps. John, how do you explain the success that you've been able to enjoy?
Because I surround myself with the greatest people, the greatest sponsors with Peak and Auto Club and Chevrolet and Advanced Auto Parts and CarQuest and of course Montana brand. I got a young kid coming here right now. But what I've done is taken their money and bought the best people. Karate, Brian Karate, my son-in-law Daniel Hood, and Fabrizi in this team got me this win. And I've been struggling, but there's a lot of other guys that have got me this win. So I just want to say, to all the guys that were part of 150, you're all part of my life. But I want to tell you, Austin Coyle, I love you. You stood by me, called me every week, said I was screwed up, but I could still drive. God bless you, you and Bernie Federley. We finally made it. It's 150, and I'm over the
John, as you hold up that Wally, there is a special Wally here. That was your first win. 1987 Montreal.
Holding both his first and 150th Wallies. How do you do it?
This is the way you write it up. John Force and his team, they had some work to do. They were at a disadvantage coming into this final round. It was Ron Capps that was quicker in the semifinals. John Force had the car. The team gave it to him. He left the starting line right there with Ron Capps. Ron Capps, for some reason, slowed down. But I realized when these two drivers were pulling up into the staging lanes, a very special place for both of them. But John Force, 150 wins. I was there for 100. And I think what's most telling about that win is he thanked Austin Coyle, Bernie Federley, the people that got him there.
Hey, I'm going to the stands, baby.
His family now. He gives his wife Lori a kiss on the cheek, his grandson standing with him. And now you heard what he said. He's heading to the stands. Why? To watch a young man who has gotten a shot because of John Force, the Montana Brands car. Austin Brock. We talk about symmetry in drag racing. It's a sport of two cars running down next to each other. It is a sport of men and women, young and old. It's a sport of a guy with 150 wins and a kid that hasn't ever made a final round at Top Fuel before. Austin Prock came with the addition of Don Prudhomme. And the addition of Don Prudhomme was the shot of B12 vitamin in the backside of John Force this season. We have seen him more passionate, more energetic, and more fired up than ever. And we put a lot of that on Don the Snake Prudhomme's presence in that team's organization now. And then there's this man, Steve Torrence. There is a road you can drive if you drive between Seattle and Sonoma. You can drive in Humboldt, California through the redwood trees. It's called the Avenue of Giants. This weekend in Seattle, Washington, the Avenue of Giants includes this man here, Steve Torrence, who has lorded over the Top Fuel category in ways that we have not seen in many years in NHRA drag racing. But is Austin Prock the man to beat him in Seattle? Here we go. Two horrendous reaction times. Steve Torrence smokes the tires, and it is perfect symmetry. Austin Prock collects his first career victory as John Force collects the 150th. Mike Green swarmed by Austin Prock's mother. John Force hobbling over the wall into the starting line. The reaction times were not good on either side of the racetrack. Steve Torrence smokes the tires early. Austin Prock gathers the car up and goes to the finish line running 3.87 seconds. And John Force is going to attempt to climb a fence successfully. I don't know where he's going, but he's trying to get somewhere. And Steve Torrence, 4.984 seconds after smoking the tires. As Austin Prock, Tony, this is a storybook end. Look.
We still need a winner. Yes. We still need winner's circle even without John. So if we can get Hartford in the truck and get ready. Airflex.
Dude, I owe you $5
for Austin Prock. He grew up around the sport. Austin, how does this moment compare to what you imagined?
Oh, I can't even believe it right now. I'm in total shock. I look like an idiot up there. Torrence double balled me, and you know I was just rookie move. But we got her done. When it's your day, it's your day. God bless. I went to church this morning, and they said it's going to be a blessed day, and it was. Oh, unbelievable.
Congratulations.